Ever find yourself wanting something simply because someone else has it? You're not alone. I stumbled upon this fascinating concept of mimetic desire while navigating the wilds of the internet, reading comments, and watching people debate what they wanted most. Then I found Luke Burgess's Wanting, the power of mimetic desire in everyday life, and it was like uncovering the blueprints of the human psyche. Greetings, fellow seekers of truth and understanding. As I delved into this book, it became clear that our desires might not be as original as we think. Burgess takes us on a journey through Rene Girard's groundbreaking theory of mimetic desire, and trust me, it's a rabbit hole worth diving into. Let's start by acknowledging that the desires you hold dear may actually belong to someone else. Shocking? It should be. Now let's unravel this tangled web of desire. Picture this: Rene Girard, a French polymath, sitting in his university office, buried in literature. He wasn't just reading for plot or character development. He was looking for patterns, and what he found was revolutionary. Girard noticed that characters didn't desire things randomly. They mirrored the desires of others. Enter the theory of mimetic desire, a profound idea suggesting that our wants are not intrinsic. They're taught, learned, passed down like heirlooms, but without the charm. This isn't about eliminating desires. It's about choosing which ones truly matter. As Girard mused, we learn to desire what others desire because we imitate their desires. It's like learning a language, but instead of vocabulary, we're learning wants. And what's truly riveting is how this theory evolved out of Girard's literary analysis. It's a reminder that some of the most profound truths come from unexpected places. Let me take you to a moment of crisis in Luke Burgess's life where the rubber meets the road. Picture this: 2008, Burgess and his company Fit Fuel are on the brink of a game-changing deal with Zappos. Tony Hsieh, the CEO of Zappos, had shown interest, and in that moment, Hsieh became a model for Burgess's desires. Burgess found himself mimicking Hsieh's style, opinions, even the jeans he wore, all in an attempt to seal the deal. This wasn't about business anymore. It was about identity, validation, and the all-consuming power of mimetic desire. Mimesis dictates everything we desire, Burgess realized, as he watched his original passion for entrepreneurship fade into the background. This tale is a stark reminder of how easily we can lose ourselves in someone else's shadow, caught in the snare of borrowed desires. It's a modern-day allegory of Cain and Abel, where desires drive us to the brink of losing our essence. Enter the social media coliseum, where every scroll feeds our mimetic hunger. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they're not just apps. They're desire machines, churning out models by the millions. Burgess warns us that social media is the greatest engine of mimesis ever invented. It's like holding a mirror to the collective unconscious of humanity. Every post, every picture is a potential model, whispering to us what we should want, what we should be. It's a 24/7 marketplace of desires, where everything is curated to make you feel inadequate, to make you want more. But here's the twist. It's not about escaping this digital dystopia, but about recognizing it for what it is. Models are everywhere, Burgess writes, and the key to freedom is naming them, shedding light on their power over us. It's about reclaiming the narrative, choosing whose desires are worth mirroring, and whose are mere reflections in a pond of discontent. Imagine living in a world divided into two realms, Celebristan and Freshmanistan. These aren't just places, they're states of mind. Celebristan is where the untouchables reside, your Jeff Bezos, your Oprah Winfreys. They're the external mediators of desire, so far removed from our daily lives that they don't threaten us. Then there's freshmanistan, where your next door neighbor drives a better car, or your coworker has a slightly higher salary. This is where mimetic rivalry festers. In freshmanistan, every desire feels attainable, every rival a threat. Burgess eloquently lays out this dichotomy, showing how models in Celebristan can inspire without inciting rivalry, while those in freshmanistan provoke endless cycles of competition. The real challenge lies in navigating these worlds, in choosing which models to emulate and which to let go. The choice defines not just what we want, but who we become. The tale of Lamborghini and Ferrari is a classic narrative of mimetic rivalry turned on its head. Ferruccio Lamborghini, a man who knew tractors inside out, decided to purchase a luxury Ferrari. But a faulty clutch in his pricey new toy led him back to his own mechanics, who discovered Ferrari was using the same clutch as his tractors. This revelation was enough to turn admiration into rivalry. Lamborghini became a model for his own desires, launching a line of luxury cars that would rival Ferraris. Here's the genius. Lamborghini knew when to end the rivalry. He refused to build a racing car, thereby halting the mimetic cycle. Burgess uses this story to illustrate how rivalry can be positive if one knows when to walk away. It's a bold testament to the idea that sometimes the greatest victories come not from conquest, but from knowing when to declare peace. Let's venture into the dark, unsettling territory of scapegoating, a phenomenon deeply rooted in mimetic theory. Imagine ancient Greece, where faced with calamity, the people would choose a pharmakos, a scapegoat, to absorb their collective guilt and rage. This ritual, as Burgess reminds us, was a way to restore social harmony through sacrifice. It's a brutal mechanism, but one that echoes through history, from the witch hunts of the Middle Ages to the scapegoating of Jews in Nazi Germany. Even in sports, losing teams expel coaches and players, purging the collective failure through sacrifice. But Burgess challenges us to recognize this for what it is, a flawed, dangerous shortcut to resolving crises. Girard's insight here is crucial. Scapegoating may provide temporary relief, but it perpetuates cycles of violence and rivalry. It's time to break the cycle, to see scapegoating as an instrument of injustice, and to move beyond it toward true reconciliation. Sebastien Bras, a culinary genius, once found himself ensnared in the mimetic system of Michelin stars, a system that defines success through arbitrary external validation. Bras grew up with a Michelin-starred restaurant above his bedroom, dreaming of that elusive third star. But once achieved, the star became a burden, a symbol of conformity rather than creativity. Braz realized that the Michelin system, like many others, was a construct of artificial desires, compelling chefs to mimic others rather than innovate. So, in a bold move, he opted out, shedding the star and embracing his true passion, crafting dishes that celebrate the natural beauty of the French countryside. Burgess tells this story to highlight the trap of mimetic systems, urging us to question the metrics that define our success. It's a call to abandon the stars we chase for the stars we hold within, the desires that are truly ours, unsullied by imitation. Leadership is more than influence. It's about shaping desires, setting the course for others to follow. In the world of business and beyond, leaders must decide whether to model desires that are imminent or transcendent. Imminent leadership, as Burgess warns, is trapped within the existing framework, unable to see beyond immediate gains. It's the paper company in the office, blind to the world changing around it. In contrast, transcendent leadership reaches for the stars, literally, in the case of John F. Kennedy's vision for the moon landing. Such leaders create desires that are bigger than themselves, aligning their mission with a higher purpose. In this narrative, Burgess urges leaders to cultivate truth within their organizations, to let it travel fast and freely, because truth, unlike mimesis, is not subject to the whims of popularity. It's a rallying cry for leaders to become models of what's worth desiring, a beacon of what can be, rather than what is. Empathy, often touted as a virtue, is a potent tool against the tide of mimetic desire. Imagine three artists painting the same landscape. From the outside, they seem identical, but within, their motivations differ wildly. This diversity of experience is what empathy seeks to understand. Burgess posits that empathy allows us to connect with others without losing our individuality, thereby disrupting mimetic crises. It's about seeing the world through someone else's eyes without adopting their desires. Empathy leads us to our fulfillment stories, narratives of doing something well that brings us joy, not for accolades, but for personal satisfaction. These stories anchor us to our thick desires, the core motivations that define who we are. By cultivating empathy, we foster positive mimetic cycles where understanding and connection replace competition and rivalry. In a world driven by imitation, empathy offers a path to authenticity, a return to the desires that resonate with our true selves. The relentless engineering of desire by tech giants like Google, Facebook, and Amazon has given rise to a culture of imitation, where innovation stagnates under the weight of engineered wants. Burgess challenges us to transform desire rather than engineer it, to shift our focus from thin desires, status, wealth, possessions, to thick desires that promise fulfillment and meaning. It's about breaking the cycle of superficial wants and cultivating relationships that enrich our lives. Consider how fictional heroes in books can serve as models for our children, teaching them to pursue passions that matter. Or how we, as adults, can resist the pull of mimetic rivalries, focusing instead on what truly matters. Burgess calls for a conscious effort to redefine success, to find our greatest desire and let it guide all others. It's a journey toward a future where desire is not dictated by algorithms, but inspired by the best of what humanity can offer. In the realm of desires, there are thin ones that flicker like dying embers and thick ones that burn eternal. Thin desires are those dictated by mimetic systems, fleeting, superficial, ultimately unfulfilling. They're the cravings for accolades, the chase for ever-elusive prizes. Thick desires, on the other hand, are the anchors in the storm, rooted in our deepest passions and values. They're the desires that persist even when all else fades, the ones that bring genuine fulfillment. Burgess urges us to embrace these thick desires, to let them guide our lives. It's about aligning our actions with our core values, prioritizing what truly matters. In this journey, we find freedom from the shackles of imitation, discovering a path that's uniquely ours. It's a call to live a life not of hollow ambition, but of purpose, one where we pursue the desires that resonate with our authentic selves. Imagine desire as a flywheel, a giant disc that requires immense effort to set in motion, but once spinning gains momentum, turning effortlessly. This is the essence of positive flywheels in our lives, initiating one desire that leads to a cascade of positive changes. Burgess illustrates this with the example of starting an exercise routine, which naturally leads to healthier eating, better sleep, and a more balanced life. It's about making that initial push, setting the flywheel in motion, and letting the momentum carry you forward. This concept challenges us to take the first step, to ignite a desire that will fuel others, creating a cycle of growth and fulfillment. It's a powerful reminder that the hardest part is often starting, but once we do, the possibilities are endless. So, find that one desire worth pursuing, set your flywheel in motion, and watch as your life transforms. As we wrap up this exploration of mimetic desire, it's clear that understanding and choosing our desires is not just an intellectual exercise. It's a path to self-discovery and fulfillment. Burgess has gifted us a roadmap to navigate the complex terrain of wants and needs, urging us to be mindful of the models we emulate and the systems we subscribe to. It's about reclaiming agency, redefining success on our terms, and pursuing desires that truly matter. In a world rife with imitation, it's a call to authenticity, a challenge to live a life guided not by borrowed desires, but by those that resonate with our true selves. So as you step back into the world, take a moment to reflect on your desires, to choose them wisely, and to let them lead you to a life of purpose and meaning. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep wanting better.